From the OUTV Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, California, this is Brief News Brief, a brief look at today's trending news topics, proudly combating the thought police since 2016. Here's your host, James Heaney.
I'm James Heaney, and this is your Brief News Briefing. Donald Trump's lawyer paid an adult film star to keep quiet about their affair. Stormy Daniels was paid $130,000 to remain quiet about any relationship she had with the then presidential candidate, Donald Trump. Trump, of course, vehemently denies any such occurrence. Stormy Daniels said that she met Trump at a celebrity golf tournament in 2006. So if you carry the and that's the year after Donald Trump married Melania Trump. And you might be familiar with that name because she became later on the First Lady because she's married to Donald Trump the whole time, okay? They began a relationship, Stormy Daniels and Donald Trump, in that 2006. That was when she met him, and a relationship lasted for nearly a year. She alleges that Trump had made some promises that he would later break, such as vowing to feature her on his show, The Apprentice. She had begun preparing a story to release to Slate in 2016, but days before the election decided not to publish it, which coincidentally, it seems to be when it appears that she took money from Donald Trump's lawyer. She claims to have now released this account because she expected another chunk of money from him, and it appeared that it would not be coming. But Donald Trump's lawyer argues that not coming should not come to any surprise to Stormy Daniels when dealing with Donald Trump. Last week, on Friday, Donald Trump had his first physical as President of the United States. Turns out Trump is overweight and doesn't exercise, but he's perfectly healthy. The doctor was quoted saying, "It's called genetics. Some people just have great genes. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old. Really? You're supposed to be a doctor talking with facts. Don't bring some bullshit number like 200 years old. Just tell the truth. The doctor said the president could stand to lose 10 or 15 pounds. He'll be working with White House cooks to cut calories while encouraging Trump to get some low-impact exercise. 3/4 of the members of the federal board of the National Park Service abruptly quit their jobs Monday night out of frustration. They complained that the Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke refused to meet with them or convene a single meeting out of the entirety of last year. The resignation of 9 out of 12 National Park System Advisory Board members leaves the federal government without a functioning body to designate national, historic, or natural landmarks. In recent years, Advisory Board has advised the Interior on how to address climate change, among other issues, and how to encourage younger visitors to frequent the parks. Board members were surprised, horrified, and enraged to not be consulted on the Interior's recent decision to increase visitor fees and reverse a ban on plastic water bottles in the park system. In 2016, the board reached its centennial year, and they had accomplished so much. Now it was all falling apart. The board members refused to wait in vain for Zinke to love and cherish the parks when clearly Zinke hates the parks. If you want to do something for the national parks, HumbleBundle.com has a Humble Bundle this month to support the national parks. If you're not familiar with them, you give them money and they give you some things. For the national parks, you get different tiers of access to digital copies of books about national parks with information, great photos, and then you get to choose what percentage of the money you're spending goes to the national parks, goes to the publishers of the books, or goes to Humble Bundle. If you'd like, you could put all of your donations towards national parks. So if you'd like to pitch in on one of America's most greatest resources, now's your time. Yesterday, Steve Bannon underwent a 10-hour interview by the House Intelligence Committee on Donald Trump. During this long interview, Bannon refused to answer many questions, almost answering no questions. Lawmakers had been questioning Bannon for only roughly 90 minutes when Bannon was cut off by his lawyer. At that point, the interview just stopped. Nope, nada, no more. Bannon no speaking to the committee. So the committee issued a subpoena to force him to divulge this information. Will Bannon be held in contempt for this? Also, Bannon's been subpoenaed to stand before the Mueller grand jury and testify. Bannon says,
It's not me. The White House says I can't say anything. If it was up to me, I'd tell you everything. But the White House says I can't speak. This is the White House invoking executive privilege.
But can Steve Bannon invoke executive privilege for events that occurred during the transition? White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said Tuesday that the White House wasn't concerned with what Bannon might say to Congress or Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team. But she did not say whether the White House directed Steve Bannon not to answer certain questions. Huh, what a conundrum! On Saturday, Hawaiians woke up to an alarming text message. Emergency alert, ballistic missile inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. Incoming ballistic nuclear bomb coming your way. You have 10 minutes to live. Duck and cover. This is not a test. Turns out that this was a big old mistake. It was an oopsie-doopsie. You imagine, right, that there is a 24-hour staff of professionals working out of a bunker underground with a big red button, and it's glowing, waiting for the inevitable attack so they can push that button and save American lives. But no, it's not a red button. It's not even a button. It's a computer drop-down menu. On Monday, state officials released an image of that drop-down menu, and, well, let's take a look at why you might say that this could be considered confusing. The menu contains what I'd call a jumble of options, ranging from amber alerts to tsunami warnings to road closures. Some of them, such as high surf warning North Shores, are in plain English, but some options do not appear to be in clear English. You would hope that to tell everyone in Hawaii that there's a nuclear bomb coming their way, that it would be a little bit clearer. And up till now, the menu contained no ballistic missile defense false alarm option, which is why it took like an hour to assure people their phone was wrong and that they were not about to die. Well, now the false alarm button has been added to the jumble right up at top. Good grief.